Hey there, hi there, ho there. Ejani here. Whoops. With the old Facebook making noises. How's it going? AKA Technicolor Priestess. That's what I forgot to say. And today, so I want to talk about the elements in a way. Actually, somebody asked this question in my group a few weeks ago, and it is brilliant and delicious. So I want to talk about it. So the question is, how do you harness the and hold the tension between your elements, right? So one thing I hear a lot from people, like right now, just I just did a call for Glow the Fuck Up and Get Social, which was an amazing fun call and such good questions. And one of the calls that came up there that comes up, one of the questions that comes up a lot is actually like, you know, my two elements seem like polar opposites. Like, it doesn't make sense. How do I do it? Like, you know, one woman was saying she's space and fire. Like, you know, space loves quiet and serenity and vastness, and it likes to be sort of, you know, away from others sometimes. Hey, Rachel. So it loves that you know, spaciousness and that vastness, right? And that silence sometimes. And so, and then her other is fire, and fire is like the most extroverted of the elements, right? It's flashy and it can be like super direct and upfront and like no nonsense, right? Like, let's fucking do this, and putting fires under people's asses, right? So when we sort of analyze those with our brain, with our noggin, they totally seem like opposites. And if they're total opposites, like how do you harness them? How do you even hold them? Like, if they seem like they make no sense together and they couldn't possibly jive, right? So here's the thing. It's not actually about holding or harnessing the actual energy of the elements. That's not what this is about. It's about discovering your elements, understanding the spirit of your elements, what energies they carry, what characteristics they hold, right? Acknowledging them, letting them come together, and then unlock together. They'll unlock your iconic freaking frequency. And then it's about harnessing and holding that frequency. Right? So it could also, like, your brain can make it feel really confusing. Like, I have to hold these two seemingly opposite, like, things, right? Like, I'm air and space. Air is like, wee, and happy and excited and playful and fun. And like I said, space is a little weird, and it can be sort of standoffish and a little bit, it can be a little awkward sometimes, right? So they don't seem to jive. However, when these two come together, when I allow them to come together, because I acknowledge both of them, what they do is allow me to tap into a frequency that is mine and mine alone. Say hi, whoever's here. Just give me some little emojis. I love an emoji, as you know. So it's about then tapping the fuck into that iconic frequency, my essence, my unique essence, and doing everything I can, or being the person I know I can be, to hold that frequency. So it's actually one frequency that you're really holding on to, and that you're harnessing. You're harnessing your true energetic makeup, right? You're harnessing your gifts and your superpower. And it doesn't matter which one comes from air and which ones come from space or from fire, whatever. It doesn't matter. What's important is you harnessing, like, their synergy, really using the fuck out of that to reach your potentiality, to create true frickin' magic. Is this making sense? Is this resonating? Rachel, you gave me a unicorn. I love a unicorn. I'm not gonna lie. I freaking love a unicorn. Right? So that's a huge misconception, is the whole, like, shit, like, I want to give it to, because, you know, Earth is supposed to be super grounded and simple, and oh yay, and crystal balls. My gosh, you guys are making my freaking evening. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And now, okay, now I'm getting hearts. Oh my God, I'm receiving it all. So I hear that so much, right? Like, it's almost like people feel like they're being pulled in two directions, right? Like, Earth, it's grounded, it's, you know, black and white and things like that. And then I have whatever, for example, water, which is super, you know, soft and feminine. I'm a unicorn. Oh, thank you. You are too. Takes a unicorn to know one. That's really dorky. I don't know why I did that. That's my horn, apparently. I received that. So, and then water is super feminine and go with the flowy and stuff, right? But here's the thing. When those energies are what you're meant to lead with, they come together, and you have certain characteristics that come from each of those, and it creates a whole new cocktail, melange, magical elixir, right? That is yours and yours alone. So again, it's not about trying to be perfectly earth and then be perfectly water. It's about acknowledging them, learning about them, because then in turn you're learning about you, and then putting that shit together to create one frequency that you freaking ride like a magical unicorn into the sunset and into other galaxies. You ride that unicorn, that frequency, intergalactically. So when you are able to really tap into that frequency, that's when you can harness some shit. That's when the magic begins, right? Is this making sense to everybody? And I need to go back and see who asked that brilliant question in my group so I can let them know that I'm answering it a few weeks later. And that's why it's also like a brain can tell us like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't compute, right? Like you're telling me I'm happy-go-lucky because I'm air, but then and I'm bright colors in springtime. But then you're telling me that I'm grounded and black and white and like, you know, super simple because I'm earth. Like, how does that even make sense, right? But the truth of it is, let me just make sure no one's asking a question. The truth of it is, though, it doesn't have anything to do with that. They're not supposed to be competing for your energetic attention there. It's not like a tug of war. It's them coming together. It's them teaming up. It's everyone gets a place in your energetic makeup. They get their rightful spots. And then, holy shit, like it's next level what occurs when that happens, right? So, and it's also like, it's very linear thinking that you have to choose. Like, that, and that's what ends up happening to so many people, right? When you think, oh my God, I have this side of me that's really, again, air, I'll use air and earth, that's really peppy and like colorful and happy. But then there's this like organized, black and white, very grounded side of me that's earth. And then your brain tells you, you know, that you have to kind of choose. You can't be all of you, right? You have to choose the one that's most acceptable. You have to choose the one that's easiest. You have to choose the one probably that's more practical. The one that you think is going to get you the farthest, right? And so you separate. Okay, you separate. So that's very linear thinking. That's black and white, right? You either or, this or that, right? When in fact, it's an and, it's a this and situation. You get to be happy-go-lucky, playful, colorful air, and you get to be, you know, grounded and organized and no nonsense, and, you know, you get to explain things in a super simple, stripped back sort of direct way as well, right? Is that making sense? Is it? Is that? Okay, so yeah, so let's just like scrap that like freaking like misconception, like, oh, I don't know what to choose, I don't know what to do, how do I bring this in? Just stop, drop an icon, as I'm just gonna keep saying that, stop, drop an icon, connect with your two elements, okay, Andy says it's making sense. Yay! So stop, drop, and connect with your two elements. Notice which one you have been ignoring and neglecting like a mofo in your clothing, in your business, in your life in general, right? Which one it's probably the one that has scared the shit out of you. Yay, okay, Rachel too, it makes sense. It's the one that's been scaring the shit out of you, right? Get to know it, welcome it. It's almost like having this, like a person, a whole being, a consciousness who's been neglected, who you've never had in your home, and you're like, or you've been resisting it and like ignoring it and doing horrible things to it, right? To avoid it. It's like you've been avoiding it at the grocery store, like, oh God, I'm gonna sneak behind in the produce section here so it doesn't see me. Do not tell fire where we're going tonight, right? Don't invite fire. But then and then suddenly you're like, shit, we're gonna be on the same team. So now I need to start talking to fire. I need to start inviting it to the party. I need to start considering it like in the board meetings, like it has to have a voice, right? So fire gets to come back in, but it takes time for that to happen, right? That shit takes time. But I guarantee it, they can coexist and create energy like a mofo when you allow it. So it really is, it's less about holding and harnessing and doing all this stuff with the actual elements, and more about allowing them to do their thing, because it'll just happen organically. And then harnessing that one frequency that they create, the synergy that they creates a frequency that's distinctly yours. And then you fucking hold that by just deciding to hold it. Okay, Andy, you have a question. Let's see. I'm water and air. I lead with water. I feel more comfortable with water. Air makes me really uncomfortable. Can you remind me what air tends to be like? Trying to see how they blend. Yeah, so air is, it's like the energy of springtime. Air is effervescence. So if you think in terms of like science, let's get like nerdy, air is gas, right? So if you think of how gas moves, right? Oxygen, right? Hydrogen. And imagine like when you, nitrogen, right? Is that the one where you inhale, you do funny voices and stuff? It's playful, it's light, it's like you don't know what to expect, it's floaty, it's swirly, right? So it's like effervescence, that's the other word I use for it, because it's like dancing bubbles when you open like a sparkling water or some champagne, right? Dancing bubbles, it's lighthearted, it's playful, it's fun, It can be cheeky and irreverent, right? It can also be super brainy. Air. So if you think it's like quirky like items, quirky little weird objects. Like right now, oh God, can I stretch like that right this far? I don't even know. Some could argue that my collar is like a quirky air collar. Helium! Rachel, thank you. What am I even, like, God. So weird. Okay, I can't, I'm sitting in a really awkward position, so I can't stretch, but I'm going to show you my socks. Can you see them? They have like little, like, sacred hearts. That's a total air, like, little hearts, little weird quirky things. And it can be, for me, I lead mostly with space in a way, and then air really comes through more in my personality and in my little details, like my socks, or like the overall feeling of something, rather than, you know, I'm not head to toe air. And I said and Andy, yeah, so your other one was water. So it's basically, so if water feels comfortable and good, we don't want to discount water, right? But it's really, this is an opportunity for you to get to know air. Like, think about, you know, like, have conversations with air, journal about air, ask it questions. What do you want to express, right? And even start noticing, are there quirky things or colorful things or glittery things or fun things that maybe your water has said, that's not deep enough, we need to keep things serious, we need to keep things like, let's stay like, you know, in flow, let's keep it like sensual, let's keep it super feminine. And maybe the air part is intimidating because it disrupts that energy of water, right? But that's the thing. Beautiful style and like authentic expression is, there's always going to be a disruption. There's always going to be juxtaposition. There's always going to be that sort of polarizing tension, because none of us is just straightforward. None of us is a stereotype, right? You're certainly not just a stereotype of water. You're definitely water, but there's more to the story, Andy. So I would invite you to see what things you're attracted to that scare you, or that feel too childish or silly or irreverent or cheeky, that you haven't given yourself permission to really go for. So it might be like one client I had, she wasn't really letting air in. And then she told us, like, she's a total Beatles, like, she's obsessed with Beatles. She loves Beatles objects and paraphernalia and little decorations. So that's like one little thing that can bring, like, it's a quirk, right? She loves the Beatles. So it could be Beatles earrings or something, or like Beatles socks. It's bringing in those little cheeky, little disruptive winks, if you will, if you lead with water. That can change the energetic landscape. So it doesn't have to be like a total overhaul, but it's giving your air more of a voice. So notice what you're avoiding that you like. And then number two, talk to air, get to know it. Because like I said, right, it's like you've ignored this consciousness forever. And now you need to get to know it. You guys need to establish a relationship. Okay. So let's see, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Will you at some point, if not now, go into how the elements overlap or relate, as in a compare-contrast session, and how do they then present in clothing items? Denim as an example, the kind of jeans each element would be drawn to in general. Black is another example in that it's strong and fierce. It's strong in fire, space, and earth, showing up in different ways for each, and also not exclusive to these elements. Okay, so will you at some point find out going to the elements overlap or relate, as in compare contrast session? Yeah, Carrie, I would love for you to elaborate. Send me a little more, because I think I know where you're going, but if you could just like whittle it down, I would be happy to do a live on that and talk about it, darling. Yes. Could you tell me a little more about that, please? Okay, and Bryn, let's see. I'm scared of both the sensuality of water and the boldness of space. How can I... How can I work on this? Okay, Brent, so the boldness of space. So, yeah, water is more, it can be more soothing and sort of, not muted in a bad way, right? But more like everything kind of melts into each other, right? So space can feel intimidating because it can be lots of, well, actually that could feel good to water. That does feel good to water. So tell me so the boldness of space, it's bold in that it's, but it's not a flashy look at me kind of boldness. It's more avant-garde in that space does things in unusual new ways that really haven't been seen before, right, Bryn? So it doesn't have to be like, it's not an in-your-face kind of boldness with space. It's kind of those things that make you look twice. So it could be head to toe, you know, sort of neutral colors, maybe head to toe taupe, right? Or like a super light pink or something like that. That could actually really nourish your water as well. Yeah. So how can you work on it? So it's about developing a relationship with space. Talk to space, get to know space, ask space questions, let it know that you're scared, but you want to welcome it on board, that you want its help and its wisdom, and you're intimidated, but you want to get over the intimidation and bring it onto the team. So again, it's a consciousness. Have a conversation with it, Bryn, and just get to know it, right? Because with anything, we have to get to know, like, and trust it. So, and this is a part of you also. I want to ask, what boldness and what parts of yourself are you scared of? Because that space is simply representing parts of yourself that you have repressed or ignored or tried to rein in or, sort of water down. So you can also like say that to space. Show me the parts of myself that are really fucking scary that I'm actually ready to take ownership of. I would invite you to do that. Okay? Let me know if that helps. I want to go on an RV road trip for 6 months to a year. This feels like air. Part of me loves the idea of selling the house and living a gypsy life, or maybe this is on both my elements coming out in me. Yeah, it feels like, yeah, beautiful. It sounds like an unexpected adventure. It also feels like it could be really like super nourishing and like very sensual, right? Seeing landscapes and connecting with whoever you're traveling with, all those things. That could be super water also. And in a lovely, comfy RV. That's tray water. I love that, Andy. Okay, what else we got here? Anyone else? Rachel, your fire in space. Have no problem with my fire. It's what I present to the world. Space was weird for me at first, but I have found that it shows up in my demeanor a bit, but it's strong in my accessories and home. I love symmetry and despise clutter. Yes. So that's the thing too. We get to know them, our elements, and then they show up in different ways, and they have been all along, whether we see it or not. But once we get to know them, we see how they have been expressing, because they have to come, it has to come out somehow and somewhere, right? So yeah, it sounds like, Rachel, you have found your way, right? To give both your fire and your space their rightful place and their rightful voice in your energetic makeup, right? With your home, with how you put outfits together and stuff. So that's beautiful. Yeah, and then ultimately what it boils down to is just the more you get to know, like, and trust them, the more you trust yourself, right? And when you trust yourself, like, that is the epitome of harnessing magic and holding a frequency, right? That trust. That is amazing. Making peace with the parts we are terrified of. Yes, April, that's what this is actually all about, because it's only then that we can actually trust ourselves, right? Yeah. Okay, beautiful, Bryn. Yes, if that hits something, then I would definitely invite you to follow that lead, darling. Okay? All right, so does anyone else have any questions? This is always so fun. But I do have to admit, my butt is numb. I did 2 calls before this, and I was just so like on and excited that I was like, oh, we're going to go live now. Okay, anything else? Anyone? Anyone? I am doing a weird stretch. Anyone? I'm kind of doing an awkward squat. Okay. Well, it's been real. Thank you for watching, everyone. Oh, would love to hear how the elements sometimes have things in common in their function and in clothing. Black being shared as strong suit for fire, huh? Okay. Okay, that's a fun topic, Carrie. Yeah, because there are certain benchmarks. So there are certain sort of key characteristics and energies and ways of expressing for the different elements. However, a big part of it depends on styling, right? And like, I remember growing up with my sister, she's fire and water, and we shared clothes. I'm air and space. So when she would put something on, like, it would look totally different than when I put it on, even if it was the exact same outfit. And that's when I started really understanding, like, just if I styled it slightly differently, it felt totally like me, even though maybe the top and the bottoms were the same, right? So a lot of it is the essence that you bring, and also the styling. But yeah, let me feel into that, and that could be a fun thing to talk about more. Lovely, I love that. Okay, always love hearing you, April. It's a pleasure. I always love seeing you here. Beautiful. Stand and dance around. I will assume, because I have like a weird situation set up here. We're in the middle of moving, so I have like backed myself into like a little spot where I have a whole setup, so I'll be able to dance in a moment. And I'm going to have my new office soon, and I will definitely be able to stand up there and dance like a mofo. Okay. Yay! Thank you, everyone, so much. Mwah. Happy whatever day it is, and see you soon. Oh, and if you have not joined Dress Your Way to Six Figures and Beyond, seriously, just go type in Dress Your Way to Six Figures and Beyond. There's mega magic happening there. One amazing freaking badass just shared today that he has basically booked himself out almost just with my free content. Just with my free fucking content. That means these lives and the shit that I post in the group and the little freebies. So go in there, grab your freebies, do your quiz, like really listen to the podcasts, which are a lot of these are repeats of, I mean, podcast is a lot of times these lives. But like, if you really want this and you want to connect with your elements, you can do this. If you really feel called to this and drawn to this, it can fucking rock your world and change your life. So go grab all that stuff. I think that's what I was going to say. Yeah, come to the group, take the quiz. Okay, that's it. Okay, have a splendid day. Bye, everyone. Woot woot.